Thanks for coming to join me today. I am going to be talking about the faithfulness of God and just giving you a little bit of a testimony on answered prayer and how faithful God is to just give us the desires of our heart. So some of you might know, some of you might not. I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I have been since our little guy, who was actually 5 months in a couple of days, since he was born. And so I love it. I do not take a stay-at-home mom position lightly. I believe that it's actually one of the most vital jobs that we have here in this world, to raise our little arrows and to just be the keeper of our home. And I totally am supportive of women who work outside the home too. I think it's so awesome. We need those women to just build great corporations. So rock on to you too, working mama. So my husband and I, we just recently purchased a home, and it's everything I ever wanted. It's beautiful. We've been here for about a month and a half now, which is really awesome, and time just flies by. And so through the process of home buying, Seth and I were kind of trying to figure out whether being home would be best for me or going back to work financially, where we would stand. And so I went back to work for a couple weeks while we were in the process of purchasing this home. And Seth and I, just started to pray and ask the Lord what He would like us to do as far as me staying home or maybe even having a part-time job. And so at the time, I thought it would be best if I got a part-time job. And so I had applied for a position part-time in the company that I worked for, and I got the position. It was offered to me. And Seth and I just started to really pray and seek God and to make sure that this is where He wanted us to go. And so one day I was driving home, and I just felt the presence of the Holy Spirit just minister to me and tell me that I needed to be home. And so I shared it with my husband, and him and I were, we're a little nervous. It's a big leap of faith to just stay home and only live on one income while you just bought a home and you have 2 car payments and all these bills, student loans. And so we decided to just jump off that cliff and have faith that the Lord was going to meet us and be faithful. And so what was really awesome is we didn't have a mortgage payment the month of February, and so that kind of gave us the space to save for this month and have our mortgage payment ready for March 1st and just kind of get our finances in order. And so Seth and I are crunching numbers, and we're noticing that we're definitely going to be coming up short. And so I'm thinking like, well, maybe I should go back to work, maybe I should find a part-time job, maybe we heard God wrong. And so I'm kind of just going through all of these thoughts, what are we going to do? A little stressed out about it. And so we've been praying, that the Lord would speak to us and that God would either provide something that I could do from home, or if I had to, going and getting a part-time job. So I started to apply for a few positions and submitting my resume places. And in the process of that, just, asking the Lord to show us what He would like us to do. And I looked for stuff I could do from home, but nothing was going to be lucrative for us. And it would, that didn't require startup costs, or didn't require me selling something, or, just doing something maybe that wouldn't be really efficient here, me being at home. So we decided that I would just apply for like a part-time position outside the home, which meant that we'd have to get childcare a couple days out of the week and kind of just mix up our schedule a little bit. And so while we're doing this, we are in prayer. And so yesterday, my husband calls me and he's like, hey, I got your benefits all set up for you guys. And, since I left my job, baby and I needed to be on his benefits. And I said, great. He's like, but I have really bad news. And I'm like, oh no. He's like, they're going to actually double charge us 2 pay cycles in a row because they're going to backdate to February. And I'm like, oh, great. So, that's an extra $500, and that's a lot of money. And so I'm telling him, we don't even really have money to pay our bills now. more or less, adding on top of that. And so he was like, I know, I don't know what we're going to do. So then I'm really pressed. I'm crying. I'm in the car. My baby's crying because he's teething. And so it just turns into a really chaotic day. And so I talked to my husband, and, which we ended up kind of getting in a little tiff because finances, they can cause some dissension and chaos in your marriage if you let it. And so we had to repent to each other and, tell each other that we were sorry. We shouldn't have argued about it. And we needed to come up with a plan. And so yesterday evening, my grandparents and I went to dinner, and, we were just sitting there talking, and I had the baby, and Seth was at Bible study, and I got a phone call. And it was from a good girlfriend, and she left a voicemail because I didn't answer it. And so we're finishing up dinner, and I listened to the voicemail, and she's like, hey, just calling to check on you, wanted to know how the house is going. And I also wanted to see if you'd be interested in working from home for us. At this point, guys, I am just bawling my eyes out at the dinner table. I am just in awe of how faithful God really is. And so later that evening, I give her a call back, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, you have no idea. This is totally a godsend. Seth and I have been a little stressed out on what we're going to do, if I'm going to work, if I'm not, working from home, working part-time, just back and forth. And, she just goes on to tell me that God just placed it on her heart to call me and to offer me this job that I'm, don't have any experience in, but God knows, what plans he has. And so I was just mind blown, guys, completely mind blown. And so today I just really, really want to encourage something. One, I want to encourage you that if you are not a faithful tither, if tithing is an area that you've kind of had a lack of faith in lately, I just really, really want to encourage you to do it, to take a step of faith and tithe. When Seth and I decided to just be on one income, something he said really stuck to me. He told me, our tithe is going to be harder to give now. It's going to take more faith. And I was like, wow, that's so true. I've never thought of that. When we had two incomes, it was like we had extra money, and so our tithe at 10%, oh yeah, Lord, please take it. It's yours. And having one income and being tight, when you don't really have the money to give, it takes more faith. It takes a lot of faith to say, you know what, Lord, this is your 10%. And we did. We continued to tithe faithfully, but it was hard. It was really, really hard. We were grasping a little tighter than we usually would. And so, but we decided to stay faithful because God, that is an area that he requires of us. And so I want to encourage you, if tithing has been something that you have thought about, but you haven't really given much thought to because maybe you're scared, maybe it just, you were programmed to think that the church just wants your money. And even with that, guys, when you give out of your heart. It's an action and it's a heart issue. And so once you give that money, whatever the church does with that money, that they're going to be held accountable for that. But you're accountable for giving your 10%. And so I just really encourage you to take the leap of faith and just know that, God says that's the one thing that we can test him with. Test him with our finances, and he'll be faithful. And, that doesn't mean that we believe in a prosperity gospel where God is just going to have you rolling around in a Rolls Royce. That's just unrealistic. That's not true. That's not how God, works. And excuse me, but he will provide. He really will. And so I just encourage you guys to take the leap of faith. And second thing I want to talk about is that if you're believing for something lately and you have been praying for it and you've not seen any fruit from it, I just want to encourage you, do not stop praying. God, he's not bound by time. We think, Lord, I need this right now, so I need you to give me an answer. I need your answer now. He's not bound by time, guys. He can answer your prayers 10 years down the road, 10 minutes down the road, 10 hours down the road. It's, his decision, but he's good, and you have to know that. And so I just want to believe with you. And so today, if you're believing for something that you want God to be faithful in, I want to join in agreement with you. So please leave your prayer requests underneath this video, or you can send them to brit.ziamom@gmail.com, or feel free to contact me on Facebook, Instagram, or my blog. So I thank God for you guys. I'm so thankful that I have this platform. I don't take it lightly, and I just want to, most importantly, give God the glory for it and just tell you guys that He is faithful. And so in those moments when you feel like doubting, maybe even doubting His existence, turn back to this video and know like that was God. There was nothing in that that was human made. It was God. And so I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend with your friends and family. Thanks for coming to Zia Mom.